Title: Shadows of Deception.
Chapter 1: The Heist.
Section 1.1. In the dead of night, an impenetrable art gallery becomes the scene of an audacious crime. The prized painting, The Midnight Bloom, vanishes without a trace. Security cameras go dark moments before the theft, leaving authorities baffled. Detective Eleanor Hayes, a seasoned investigator known for her impeccable track record, is called in. The only clue? A faint scent of lavender lingering in the air. The gallery owner, Mr. Keats, appears distressed, claiming it's the work of professionals. Eleanor observes the spotless crime scene and suspects careful planning. Her instincts tell her this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment act. The media sensationalizes the theft, dubbing the thief the Ghost. As the case begins, Eleanor knows this will be unlike any other. Section 1.2. Eleanor dives into the gallery's security records but finds them wiped clean. The security guard, an older man named Paul, recalls seeing a suspicious delivery truck the night before the heist. Paul, however, is unable to identify the vehicle or its license plate. Eleanor questions the gallery staff, including Liam Cole, a young and charismatic assistant. Liam claims to have left early that night but appears unusually nervous. A thorough search of the gallery reveals a broken locket hidden near the painting's display case. The locket contains a photo of an unknown woman. Eleanor keeps this clue close to her chest, knowing it may lead her closer to the truth. Section 1.3. While following up on the locket, Eleanor receives news of a similar heist in a neighboring city. The circumstances mirror those at the gallery: a high-value painting stolen, security systems disabled, and no clear suspects. The thief's precision suggests a repeat offender. Eleanor begins to see a connection between these thefts and starts charting a pattern. Meanwhile, the media attention intensifies, putting pressure on her to solve the case quickly. Mr. Keats grows impatient, urging Eleanor to act fast to recover his painting. She reassures him, but her instincts tell her there's more to the story than he's letting on. Section 1.4. As Eleanor compiles evidence, she uncovers a strange coincidence. Liam Cole once worked at another gallery targeted by the Ghost. When confronted, Liam insists it's just bad luck, but Eleanor isn't convinced. She decides to dig into Liam's background, finding a series of odd job changes and financial troubles. While his alibi for the night of the theft is shaky, it's not enough to make an arrest. Eleanor decides to keep Liam under surveillance. As she pieces the puzzle together, the scent of lavender continues to haunt her thoughts, a detail she can't shake off. Chapter 2: The Suspects. Section 2.1. Eleanor's investigation intensifies as she narrows her list of suspects. Liam Cole, still under scrutiny, continues to behave suspiciously. His history of financial troubles deepens Eleanor's doubts, but she has no hard evidence. Meanwhile, a new lead emerges: the mysterious delivery truck seen near the gallery. Surveillance footage from nearby streets shows the truck's route, but its license plates are obscured. Eleanor tracks the company listed on the truck's side, discovering it's a shell business. With every answer, new questions arise, making the case more complex. The scent of lavender remains an enigma, a haunting clue Eleanor knows is critical. Section 2.2. Eleanor interviews gallery owner Mr. Keats again, probing into his finances and possible motives. She discovers that the Midnight Bloom was insured for an enormous sum, raising suspicions about his potential involvement. Keats vehemently denies any wrongdoing, pointing out his impeccable reputation in the art world. As Eleanor presses him further, she notices subtle signs of discomfort, a bead of sweat, a quick glance away. Despite his outward composure, something feels off. Eleanor files a request for a deeper financial investigation into Keats, suspecting he may know more than he's letting on. Section 2.3. The case takes a twist when a retired detective contacts Eleanor with information about the Ghost. He describes a pattern of high-profile art thefts linked to a black market network. The retired detective claims the thief is known for using elaborate decoys, making it nearly impossible to trace them. He warns Eleanor that the Ghost always leaves a personal mark behind, a symbolic signature for their crimes. Could the lavender scent be the thief's mark? As Eleanor pieces together the patterns, she realizes this thief might be more than just an opportunist. It's someone with a master plan. Section 2.4. Liam Cole suddenly disappears, sending shockwaves through the investigation. His sudden absence makes him look guiltier than ever, and Eleanor intensifies her search for him. Tracking his last known movements, she discovers a cryptic note left in his apartment. "You're looking in the wrong place." The note is unsigned but reeks faintly of lavender. Frustrated but determined, Eleanor vows to find Liam, suspecting he might either be the thief or a key link to the ghost. Meanwhile, the media's pressure mounts, casting doubt on Eleanor's abilities and fueling public outrage over the unsolved theft. Section 3.1, Eleanor dives into the cryptic note left in Liam's apartment. Its message, "You're looking in the wrong place," gnaws at her, but she senses it's more than just a taunt. With Liam still missing, Eleanor revisits the gallery security footage. A minor detail she previously overlooked catches her attention: a shadowy figure loitering near the gallery's loading dock hours before the theft. The figure appears to have a limp, a crucial detail Eleanor hopes to leverage.
She sends the footage to forensics for enhancement.
Hoping to identify this mysterious individual, with each passing moment, the puzzle grows more tangled. Section 3.0. Eleanor's research into the ghost deepens. She uncovers a trail of similar heists across several states, all connected by the same signature lavender scent. The scent, it turns out, is a rare and custom-made perfume. She contacts a boutique perfume maker, who hesitates but eventually reveals a client list containing a single, intriguing name, Bianca Langley, a reclusive art dealer with connections to the black market. This revelation pushes Eleanor toward a new suspect, someone with the resources and knowledge to pull off a crime of this scale. Section 3.3. Meanwhile, the forensic team enhances the footage, revealing the loitering figure as an older man, with a distinctive scar on his left cheek. The man matches the description of a known smuggler, Victor Crane, who's infamous for aiding high-profile criminals. Eleanor tracks Crane to a dilapidated warehouse on the city's outskirts, but when she arrives, the place is empty. She finds traces of lavender-scented candles and faint markings on the floor, where crates were recently stored. The scene confirms her theory. Crane and Bianca Langley are likely part of the same operation. Section 3.4. While searching the warehouse, Eleanor stumbles upon an envelope containing a photo of the midnight bloom. Scribbled on the back are the words, "Art is never lost, only hidden." The cryptic message feels like a challenge, taunting Eleanor to uncover the truth. She returns to the precinct and shares her findings with her team. With Bianca Langley, now a prime suspect, and Victor Crane potentially serving as her accomplice, Eleanor feels she's closing in. Yet Liam's disappearance and his possible role in the heist remain troubling questions. The case grows more dangerous with every step forward. Chapter 4. The Web of Lies. Section 4.1. Eleanor digs into Bianca Langley's past, uncovering a history as murky as the stolen art world itself. Once a celebrated curator, Bianca fell from grace after being implicated in a smuggling ring. Though charges were dropped, rumors of her involvement persisted. Bianca now operates discreetly, dealing in lost art pieces that resurface in underground auctions. Eleanor secures a warrant to search Bianca's lavish estate, but upon arrival she finds the property deserted. The only trace of activity is a partially burned journal in the fireplace. Inside the salvaged pages, Eleanor finds cryptic references to an auction night and a list of high-profile buyers. Section 4.2. Eleanor's team discovers that auction night refers to an exclusive black market event scheduled in 2 weeks, attended by elite collectors. This event could be where the midnight bloom will resurface. Eleanor realizes she must infiltrate the auction, but struggles to find a way in. Meanwhile, Victor Crane, the smuggler with the scar, is spotted at a local motel. Eleanor leads a team to apprehend him, but Crane escapes after a dramatic chase through the city. Though furious about losing him, Eleanor finds his abandoned room filled with maps, documents, and traces of lavender-scented residue. Section 4.3. Among the evidence, Eleanor finds a detailed map of the auction's rumored location, a remote villa on the outskirts of a neighboring city. The map is marked with symbols that suggest tight security and secret escape routes. Her instincts tell her that Crane and Bianca are planning something bigger than just selling the painting. As she pores over the clues, Eleanor receives an anonymous tip. Liam Cole knows more than you think. Find him. The message reignites her search for Liam, now more convinced than ever that he's a key piece in this intricate puzzle. Section 4.4. Eleanor's hunt for Liam leads her to a rundown apartment complex, where he's been hiding. Cornered and desperate, Liam finally confesses. He reveals he was blackmailed into helping Bianca's operation, using his access at the gallery to disable security measures. Liam insists he tried to back out, but Bianca's threats forced his hand. He also shares a shocking detail: the midnight bloom holds more than artistic value. It conceals a secret code, linked to offshore accounts used for laundering money. Eleanor realizes the stakes are far higher than she imagined. Recovering the painting is no longer just about art, it's about dismantling a criminal empire. Chapter 5, The Auction Plot. Section 5.1. With Liam's confession in hand, Eleanor begins assembling a covert operation to infiltrate the black market auction. The villa hosting the event is a fortress, equipped with state-of-the-art security and patrolled by armed guards. Posing as a wealthy art collector, Eleanor secures a fake identity with the help of her tech-savvy colleague Marcus. The team spends days perfecting her cover story, creating fake bank statements, and crafting a convincing backstory. As the date approaches, Eleanor feels the weight of the operation pressing on her. Shoulders one slip could expose her, and the stakes are higher than ever. Section 5.2. As Eleanor prepares, her team uncovers more about the auction's attendees. Many are influential figures with questionable ties to criminal networks. Among the names is Bianca Langley, whose involvement is now confirmed. Surveillance reveals that Victor Crane is also preparing for the event, likely as part of the auction's security. Eleanor knows she must avoid them at all costs. While navigating the high-stakes gathering, she studies their patterns and behaviors, preparing for the possibility of a confrontation. Every detail is critical, as the villa's defenses are designed to detect any imposters. Section 5.3. The night of the auction arrives. Eleanor enters the villa, blending in with the crowd of extravagant attendees. The interior is opulent, with priceless artifacts displayed as if mocking the law. Eleanor's heart races as she spots Bianca Langley mingling with other guests, her confidence unnerving. Moments later, Victor Crane enters the room, scanning the crowd like a hawk. Eleanor keeps her distance, focusing on the auction catalog. When the painting is unveiled, the midnight bloom gleams under the spotlight, its beauty hiding the dark secrets it contains. Eleanor's mission is clear: recover the painting before it vanishes forever. Section 5.4. As the bidding begins, Eleanor discreetly activates a concealed earpiece, staying in touch with her team stationed outside. The tension in the room is palpable as the price for the midnight bloom skyrockets. Eleanor places a calculated bid, hoping to keep the painting within reach. Suddenly, chaos erupts. A masked group storms the auction, aiming to steal the painting for themselves. The crowd panics, and Eleanor seizes the opportunity to slip past the guards. Amid the confusion, she follows the masked thieves, who make their escape through a hidden tunnel. Eleanor knows this is her chance to recover the painting, and perhaps unmask the true mastermind. Chapter 6. The chase begins. Question C1. Eleanor races through the hidden tunnel, her footsteps echoing in the confined space. The masked thieves carrying the midnight bloom move swiftly ahead, clearly familiar with the villa's secret passages. Eleanor maintains her distance, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. Her earpiece crackles as Marcus feeds her directions, based on the villa's blueprints. The thieves split into two groups, forcing Eleanor to make a quick decision. Trusting her instincts, she follows the group carrying the painting, hoping to intercept them before they vanish. The air is tense and every step feels like a gamble. Section 6.2. The tunnel exits into a dense forest where a getaway van waits for the thieves. Eleanor hides behind a tree, watching as they load the painting into the vehicle. She quietly radios her team, who are stationed nearby. Marcus works to disable the van's ignition remotely, buying Eleanor time. As the thieves realize the van won't start, a heated argument breaks out among them. Taking advantage of the chaos, Eleanor moves closer, her weapon drawn. She knows she's outnumbered but can't let them escape with the painting. Her pulse quickens as she plans her next move. Section 6.3. Before Eleanor can act, headlights pierce through the trees. A second vehicle arrives and Victor Crane steps out, his scar illuminated by the glare. He's furious, accusing the thieves of jeopardizing the operation. Eleanor listens intently, piecing together their conversation. Crane orders them to transfer the painting to his car, preparing for a quick escape. Realizing time is running out, Eleanor signals her team to close in. In a daring move, she steps out of the shadows, gun raised, and orders them to surrender. Crane's cold smile tells her this confrontation won't end easily. Section 6.4. A tense standoff ensues, with Eleanor and Crane locked in a battle of wills. Crane tries to bargain, offering Eleanor a share of the profits if she lets him go. She refuses, determined to bring him and the stolen painting to justice. The situation escalates as one of the thieves lunges at her, sparking a chaotic fight. Eleanor disarms him, but takes a blow to her shoulder in the process. Her team arrives just in time, overwhelming the thieves and securing the painting. Crane, however, escapes in the second vehicle, leaving Eleanor frustrated but resolute. She may have recovered the midnight bloom, but the battle is far from over. Chapter 7. The Mastermind Revealed. Section 7. With the midnight bloom secured, Eleanor returns to the precinct. However, the sense of victory is short-lived. Victor Crane's escape leaves lingering questions about the scope of the operation. Eleanor studies the painting more closely, searching for the hidden code Liam mentioned. Using ultraviolet light, she discovers faint markings embedded in the canvas. The code appears to be a series of encrypted bank account numbers tied to offshore funds. The discovery confirms her fears. The stolen art is being used to launder money for a vast criminal network. Eleanor knows she must uncover the mastermind behind it all. Section 7.2. Bianca Langley becomes the next target of the investigation. With Crane on the run, Eleanor focuses on interrogating Bianca, who was arrested during the villa raid. At first, Bianca remains defiant, claiming ignorance of the operation's true purpose. But when Eleanor confronts her with evidence, including the ultraviolet code, Bianca's composure cracks. She admits to working with Crane, but insists he was only a middleman. Bianca reveals a name that sends shockwaves through the team: Damien Rourke, a reclusive billionaire with a reputation for philanthropy. Rourke's public persona hides his deep ties to the criminal underworld. Section 7.3. Tracking Damien Rourke proves challenging. He resides in a high-security compound, shielded by layers of protection. Eleanor's team uncovers records of his involvement in multiple illicit activities, from art theft to human trafficking, though he's never been convicted. Determined to bring him to justice, Eleanor devises a plan to expose his operations. Marcus begins hacking into Rourke's financial systems, tracing transactions linked to the midnight bloom. As the pieces fall into place, Eleanor realizes that Rourke's reach extends further than she imagined. Taking him down will require precision, strategy, and risking everything. Section 7.4. Eleanor prepares for the most dangerous phase of her investigation, confronting Damien Rourke directly. She secures a warrant and leads a heavily armed team to his compound. The operation is high risk, with Rourke's guards heavily armed and the property fortified. A tense standoff unfolds as Rourke refuses to surrender. Eleanor negotiates, using her knowledge of his financial crimes as leverage. Finally, she gains access to his office, where she finds incriminating evidence: ledgers, encrypted devices, and a collection of stolen art. Rourke is arrested, but his cryptic words as he's taken away: "This isn't over, detective. You're playing a dangerous game," linger in Eleanor's mind. Chapter 8. Shadows of Retaliation. Section 8.1. Damien Rourke's arrest sends shockwaves through the criminal underworld, and Eleanor's success is celebrated in the precinct. But the victory is short-lived. Within days, Eleanor begins receiving anonymous threats, cryptic notes left on her car, messages slipped under her door. The warnings are clear: stop the investigation or face deadly consequences. Her team tightens security around her, but Eleanor refuses to back down. The threats feel personal, as if someone is watching her every move. She knows she's rattled the wrong cage, and the retaliation is only beginning. Section 8.2. As the investigation into Rourke's operations deepens, Eleanor uncovers disturbing evidence. Records show payments made to high-profile officials, implicating them in the network. The corruption runs deeper than she imagined. With Rourke's empire infiltrating law enforcement, politics, and even the justice system, Eleanor struggles with the realization that trusted allies could be compromised. Her once clear mission becomes murky as she questions who she can trust. Meanwhile, Rourke's legal team works tirelessly to secure his release, using every loophole available to undermine the charges against him. Section 8.3. The threats escalate when Eleanor's car is sabotaged, nearly causing a fatal accident. Shaken but undeterred, she doubles down on the case, determined to see it through. Marcus uncovers evidence of a hitman hired to target her, leading Eleanor to take extreme precautions. She moves into a safe house, her movements monitored by her team. Yet even in hiding, she feels the shadow of Rourke's influence looming over her. The pressure mounts, and Eleanor starts to feel the emotional toll of the investigation. The cost of justice is becoming increasingly personal. Section 8.4. In a desperate bid to regain control, Eleanor decides to confront Rourke in prison. She demands answers, seeking to understand the depths of his network and his motives for targeting her. Rourke remains smug, taunting her with veiled threats. He hints at a larger plan already in motion, one that her investigation has barely scratched the surface of. As Eleanor leaves the prison, she's left with more questions than answers. Rourke's cryptic words fuel her resolve, but she knows the stakes have never been higher. The line between hunter and hunted is beginning to blur. Chapter 9. The Web of Deceit. Section 9.1. Eleanor's fear of retaliation grows as she digs deeper into Rourke's network. The trail leads her to a series of offshore accounts and shell companies, tied to several international crime syndicates. As she follows the financial threads, Eleanor uncovers evidence that Rourke's operation is more sophisticated than she ever anticipated. It's not just about stolen art. It's a money-laundering empire that spans continents, funding terrorism, drug trafficking, and illegal arms deals. The weight of the investigation feels unbearable, and she realizes that taking down Rourke may only be the beginning of a much larger battle. Section 9.2. Eleanor's investigation takes her to a remote location, a sprawling estate owned by one of Rourke's closest associates, a man named Victor Graves. Surveillance reveals that Graves is planning a major shipment of illicit goods. Eleanor prepares a sting operation, knowing this could be the key to unraveling Rourke's entire operation. Her team sets up a covert operation to intercept the shipment, but as the plan unfolds, Eleanor discovers a shocking betrayal. One of her trusted officers is secretly working for Graves, feeding him information and sabotaging the operation from within. The betrayal cuts deep, and Eleanor feels the sting of trust shattered once again. Section 9.3. The operation is compromised and Graves escapes, but Eleanor's resolve hardens. She confronts the traitor within her ranks, a young officer named Sarah. Sarah breaks down, revealing that she was blackmailed into cooperating with Graves, her family's lives threatened by the syndicate. Feeling betrayed but understanding Sarah's position, Eleanor makes the difficult decision to protect her, offering her a chance to turn her life around by becoming a key witness. But the damage has been done. The leak has put the entire investigation at risk, and Eleanor realizes that Rourke's reach extends further than she ever imagined. Section 9. With Sarah's help, Eleanor and her team plan a final assault on Graves' estate, hoping to recover the stolen goods and capture the remaining members of the syndicate. This time, however, Eleanor isn't just hunting criminals, she's hunting shadows. The estate is fortified, and Graves is desperate to protect his operation. A bloody shootout ensues as Eleanor and her team storm the compound, facing overwhelming odds. Amid the chaos, Eleanor finally corners Graves, forcing him to reveal the full extent of Rourke's global network. The final piece of the puzzle falls into place, but the victory feels hollow. The battle is far from over. Rourke is still out there, pulling strings from the shadows. Chapter 10. The Final Reckoning. Section 10.1. After the operation at Graves' estate, Eleanor is exhausted, but there's no time for rest. The information they recovered reveals an even more staggering conspiracy. Rourke's criminal empire spans several countries, with high-ranking officials and businessmen involved. Eleanor knows that taking him down is a race against time before he escapes. The law once again. She assembles a global task force, collaborating with international law enforcement agencies to track down every lead. As she prepares for the final confrontation, Eleanor wonders if she can truly bring Rourke to justice, or if the weight of his empire will crush her. Section 10.2. Rourke's trail grows colder, but Eleanor's team uncovers a breakthrough. Through a series of encrypted communications, they trace him to a remote island in the Caribbean. Known for being a haven for criminals seeking refuge, Eleanor knows this could be her only shot. She and her team board a military vessel, making their way to the island under the cover of darkness. As they approach the island, Eleanor reflects on the sacrifices made, lives lost, families shattered, and wonders if the pursuit of justice is worth the personal cost. The island is heavily guarded, and the final confrontation promises to be the most dangerous of her career. Section 10.3. The team arrives at the island's shore, and a tactical assault begins. Gunfire erupts as they breach the compound, but Rourke's men are well-trained and prepared for the assault. Eleanor leads the charge, determined to end the long pursuit of Rourke once and for all. Inside the compound, she faces Rourke himself, who is ready for her. The confrontation is brutal. As Rourke uses his knowledge of the island to his advantage, setting traps and using the terrain to escape capture, Eleanor pushes forward, refusing to let him slip through her fingers again. In a tense moment of face-to-face confrontation, Rourke taunts her, claiming that no one is truly above the law. Eleanor doesn't flinch. She's learned to trust the law no matter the odds. Section 10-4. In a final showdown, Eleanor and Rourke engage in a fierce struggle. The fight is relentless, as Rourke proves to be a formidable adversary. But Eleanor, driven by the weight of everything she's fought for, prevails. With one decisive move, she incapacitates him and cuffs him, bringing the criminal mastermind to justice. As Rourke is led away in handcuffs, Eleanor feels a sense of closure, but also the realization that the journey has changed her. The criminal world may have lost its most dangerous player, but Eleanor knows there will always be more battles to fight. The story of the Midnight Bloom may have ended, but the fight for justice is a lifelong commitment. She walks away knowing that even in a world filled with shadows, the light of truth will always prevail.